What if a walk wasn't just a walk, but a life or death race for survival? Let's spill the tea on the long walk. Okay, drama. Hey, it's Emma, totally intrigued by this dystopian drama today. Low-key obsessed, high-key unsettled, and ready to talk about it. Okay, let's talk. The Long Walk is a 2025 film from Lionsgate, directed by Francis Lawrence. He's the filmmaker behind some Hunger Games entries, so dystopia is kind of his lane. It's written by J.T. Molnar and based on Stephen King's 1979 novel, released under his Richard Bachman pen name. The setup is an alternate 1970s America, run by a totalitarian military regime. Think parades and uniforms, but the confetti is fear. Every year, 50 boys are marched on live television. Keep above roughly 3 miles per hour or you get a warning. 3 warnings and soldiers execute you on the spot. Last one walking gets a big cash prize and 1 wish. That is the show. That is the nightmare. Okay, personal story time. I have receipts for why this movie made my quads ache. I once signed up for a marathon to impress myself and, post a thirst trap with a finisher medal. I trained, I carbo-loaded, I thought I was invincible. Then, around mile 20, I hit the wall. My body said no, my brain was like, are we dying? And my soul was basically texting, sorry, who is this? Every step felt like an argument with gravity. Blisters were having a full-on house party in my shoes. The only thing that kept me going was the weird little community that forms on the road. This older woman, shout out to Linda, handed me an orange slice like it was a sacrament. A college kid jogged backward to hype me up. A stranger yelled, eyes up, and somehow that fixed my posture and my mood. I wanted to quit, and I did not. I shuffled, I swore, I cried a little, and then, crossing that line felt like waking up inside my own chest again. Now, my race wasn't life or death, obviously, but that trench of exhaustion and the tiny acts of kindness, that is exactly what The Long Walk captures. The movie shows boys bargaining with their bodies and their morals just to keep moving. The difference is brutal. In this story, soldiers are pacing you with rifles, and the crowd is not always cheering for your life. Sometimes they want the spectacle. Big yikes. Okay, let's move on. ELI 5 mode. The regime is totalitarian. That means the state wants control of basically everything, public and private. They treat the walk like a patriotic reality show where the prize is survival. Cameras and rifles turn a road into a stage. Fall below pace. Warning. Do it 3 times, you are done. That cold simplicity is the point, and the movie keeps it spare. You infer the world from the uniforms, the rain, the crowds. Important people check. Stephen King is the author. He wrote the novel in the late 70s under his Bachman alias. Francis Lawrence directs. He's practiced with dystopia and spectacle. J.T. Molnar wrote the screenplay. The cast is stacked, co-starring Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, plus Mark Hamill, yes, Luke Skywalker, who plays the Major, the regime's chillingly cheery face of authority. Critics loved the ensemble chemistry. That human glue keeps you watching when everything else is bleak. Fun craft fact. They shot the film in chronological order. That means the scenes you see were filmed in story sequence, so the actors actually look and feel more wrecked as the miles stack up. An expensive flex, but honestly, it sells the attrition. Characters you will care about, even as you dread what is coming. Ray Garrity is the boy from Maine who becomes the emotional anchor. Pete McVries is his sharp, stubborn counterpart who says he will sit down when he has had enough. Billy Stebbins is the quiet shock. He reveals he is one of the Major's illegitimate sons and wants the wish just to be accepted. That is bleak Shakespeare. Along the way, we get moments that live rent-free in your head. For example, Curly catches a Charlie horse early and dies because rules are rules. Hank Olson breaks, attacks soldiers, and is killed. The survivors then make a pact to send money to his widow. Gary Barkovich, taunter-in-chief, spirals and kills himself with a spoon. Yes, a spoon. Collie Parker steals a rifle, shoots a soldier, then dies by suicide after being wounded. In Freeport, Maine, Ray runs to his mom and almost gets executed just for leaving the road, saved only by Pete hauling him back. The cruelty is not just in the deaths, it is in what the boys do to keep going. Now, the wish and the endings, because that is where the discourse gets spicy. One version ends with Pete asking for a carbine, which is a shorter rifle, and killing the major on the spot. The crowd and soldiers freeze, and Pete just walks into the rain. Another version has Pete spare the major, drop the rifle, and keep walking. A postscript suggests he sends monthly cash to the families of boys who died, like Hank's widow and Ray's mother, even tucking in Art's rosary for his grandmother. Public rupture versus private restitution, revenge or repair. Critics were divided, and I get it. Tasha Robinson at Polygon questioned whether that assassination moment tracks with the soldiers just standing there. Belen Edwards at Mashable floated that the finale could be imagined, like a dying vision or trauma haze. My take? I lean symbolic. The kill shot feels like a crack in the regime's TV-perfect facade, more than a literal victory lap. It is a scream into the rain that says, I see your spectacle, and I refuse it. But I also love the alternate endings receipts. Quiet reparations, month after month, is the opposite of the show the regime wants. Less boom, more backbone. Both readings say something about how resistance might look when a system turns pain into programming. Reception tea. Critics praise the performances and the stark, morose look. Variety and RogerEbert.com were into the ensemble and the beauty in the bleak. Others, like The Guardian and The Washington Post, wanted thicker world building. Audiences gave it a cinema score B, which is basically fine to good. Word of mouth was steady. It finished with around 63 million worldwide on a 20 million budget. Producer Roy Lee, a veteran behind many genre hits, has already said it more or less broke even and could age well, like The Shawshank Redemption did over time. It even closed the Sitges Film Festival, which is a big genre stage. Awards nods rolled in too, from Astra to the Spirit Awards Ensemble nomination and a Saturn nomination for Best Thriller. Oh, and the music slaps in a mournful way. Jeremiah Freites composed the score with spare textures that feel like bone on pavement. And there is an original country ballad called Took a Walk, performed by Shabuzi and Stephen Wilson Jr. If you like sad songs that sound like a dusty horizon, it's a total vibe. Bigger picture. Stephen King keeps shaping pop culture because his stories let us argue about monsters versus systems. The Long Walk doesn't hand you a thesis on how the economy gets fixed by a TV death march. That absence is the argument. You are supposed to feel how propaganda can dress cruelty up as duty. And the kids, even when they are messy or mean, hold the only real moral center left. That is why this might end up a sleeper classic. It dares to be austere and lets performance carry the weight. Next up, we might hit another dystopian adaptation that drags our modern flaws into the light. Influencers, surveillance, and the price of being watched. Tell me why that already sounds like a kismet moment for our times. So, that's the tea, folks. We'll pick this up next time. Later.